Hello and welcome back to the channel. Tonight is a collaboration between myself and Jeff, and it's a film about redwoods. Some things you may know, some things you may not know, but I hope you enjoy it. So first watch Jeff and then I come back and we talk about redwoods. I'll see you there.
Welcome to Myers Flat, California, where as a child I spent many weekends camping with my family. And I have seen several newspaper articles and magazine articles in the last week or so that have me very intrigued. You see, the redwoods have always been associated with California. They have always been part of California. They've always been on the brochures for people to come and visit California. They were an iconic California thing. But times seem to be changing. Even in this photograph, if you notice, the tops of every one of these trees is dead from insect damage and other climate factors, pollution, and other things going on. We haven't always been very good to our redwoods, though. Even the Winchester Mystery House in the Bay Area of California was completely framed with redwood. But I digress. So, I'm going to get back to what I was talking about before, and that is the redwoods and the fact that we abused them, and with climate change and forest fires and the fact that their environment that they live in is becoming drier, they are no longer happy to be in California. It seems these iconic giants are much happier in the United Kingdom, as your guys' climate is wetter than Northern California is now, and lacks the storms that blow off the Pacific in the winter. And there are no Japanese beetles, no poachers with chainsaws. They've just been silently growing for the last 200 years. If it's not too much to ask, could you please build a steam train through a grove of redwoods? Because as a 6-year-old, it is one of the most memorable experiences of my life, traveling through the redwoods on a steam train. If you are to be the new keepers of the redwoods, could you, for me, just enjoy a stroll through them? Like I did when I was a child. The smell is incredible. And you find the friendliest chipmunks on redwoods. And the camping trips on the weekends when I was a kid, where I learned that my sister's middle name was Darlene and that my father was born in a faraway place called Hamburg, Iowa. The camping trips where we cooked Polska kielbasa and baked beans on an open fire and sat around a campfire and played cards in the evening and listened to the magnificent owls in the trees. Please promise me, if you are to be the new keepers, that you will just spend some time gazing at their beautiful majesty. Bye for now, everyone. Remember, be good to each other, do good deeds, think good thoughts, and I will see you on another adventure.
Thanks, Jeff. You find us here in Brandon Hill, in Bristol, overlooking the city below us. And coming into shot is, yes, a giant redwood tree, here in the heart of Bristol. As you can see, this tree, which is still only a relatively young tree, is still quite a chunk. And look at this, the way it blends in with all the other trees around it, which are in very close proximity. As Jeff mentioned earlier on, in 1844 and 1853, two sailing ships brought over the original seeds, the giant redwood seeds. Giant redwoods, just like this one behind me, are nature's mega sequesters. That means they soak up the carbon, take it out of the atmosphere. And they soak up more carbon on a tree by tree basis than any other tree in Britain. Isn't that amazing? And it gets better because they actually like our climate. The redwoods like a slightly damp climate, which is why they used to grow where they did in America. These trees will continue soaking up carbon, getting in nobody's way, and just doing their job for the next 3,000 years. I say bring them over, let's have more. They're not invasive, they take a long time to grow. The advantages are all in favour of the trees, and as we are now, as Jeff has explained, going to become probably the home of these trees going forwards, it's good that they're starting to be recognised now for what they are, because they are amazing, amazing trees. We'll go back in a minute and talk about why these things aren't invasive and just how hard it is to make them grow in a minute. But for now, just the last couple of shots here up at Brandon Park with the Cabot Tower in the distance. These trees are beautiful. I mean, it's hard to not like them. I understand they're not native, but again, as we've said, they're not invasive and they do good. So maybe there's a place for these. 500,000 trees must have been individually planted. So 500,000 people obviously thought so at some point. Anyway, thank you for watching. We're going to go across now to Essex, because although this is our little tree here in Bristol, I believe they've got something a little bigger growing over there, and we're going over to see a bit of film that's been sent to us by the Wandering Ponderer of his local tree, which is bigger than this. So here we are in Marks Hall in Essex. Thank you to the Wandering Ponderer. This is a much larger tree than the one here in Bristol. However, this one you can see the cones. Now these cones are quite special because in order to germinate and grow more trees, they have to go through a cycle of ice followed by fire, and without that they don't work. I don't know if that's unique, but it does mean they are not going to be an invasive species. Well, thank you for watching this film. I hope you learnt something. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and we'll leave you with this view of Cabot Tower sitting atop Brandon Hill. Thank you.